Live, and welcome to my LV Live rant. Please, if you can, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Also, too, if you can, hit that bell icon to get all notifications on my new show. Also, too, please keep the lookout for me and my boy Jeff's show, The Blue Steel Show. We do it 2 times a week for all your latest news and sports. Let's get right into it. Last night's win, the Bucks in a must-win victory pulled it out 86-83 to beat the Nets. Big superhero support pretty much from Jrue Holiday for hitting the game-winning shot. Not really the game-winning shot, but pretty much the go-ahead shot to put them up 86-83 to beat the Nets. Big efforts from Chris Middleton and Giannis to pull out the victory last night because Kevin Durant was on fire. He looked like he was going to pull the Nets ahead to pretty much help them pretty much get a 3-0 lead in the series. But like I said, Jrue Holiday came up with a heroin effort to hit the layup with 11.4 seconds left to help the Bucks pretty much get one victory to hopefully tying up the series this weekend. But the Nets are still up 2-1. Great series, great series. I still think that the Nets are going to pull this out, but I think that Giannis and Chris Middleton cannot be the only ones that are pretty much getting all the points for the team. Jrue Holiday is going to have to step up a little bit, even though he hit the game-winning shot, game-winning layup. They're going to need more support from their supporting cast. Brook Lopez is going to have to step it up on the inside. There's a lot of things that I saw last night that even though the Bucks won, kind of made me a little nervous in regards to them possibly even evening the series or even winning the series. I don't know if Giannis and Chris Middleton are going to be able to pull off the same type of shooting night that they had last night. Even though Giannis had 30-something points, he still struggled on many different shots. He struggles with his jump shot. He struggled with his free throws are atrocious. Chris Middleton, I don't know if he's going to be able to have the same type of night again like he did last night. Jrue Holiday's got to step up. He's got to start hitting some shots. They just need more help, more support from their supporting cast because the Nets are going to be the Nets. They're going to score points. And here's the thing. Kyrie didn't really shoot the ball for the last 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He kind of went invisible because Jrue Holiday had him locked up. But that was because, believe it or not, Kevin Durant was cooking. He was getting busy. Whatever he did, he did. You know what I mean? And P.J. Tucker was having a hard time dealing with Kevin Durant down the stretch. So that's pretty much how that happened. I really don't agree with Bruce Brown, I believe that's his name, his layup at the end of the game. It's a bad decision. When you get the ball like that, crunch time with 10 seconds left or so, you got to look for your stars. You got to get settled down and try to get it to your stars to pretty much make the game-winning shot. You cannot go up for a contested layup against a 7-footer like Brook Lopez. That's just a bad move on my part. I just feel like that wasn't a smart play. Even though he did have a good night, he played well last night for the Nets in place of James Harden. But I just think that at that moment, it just wasn't a good play on his end. So hopefully the Bucks can even a series, but I don't think so. I think the Nets pull out the next series, and I think they end it off in Brooklyn. All right, so let's get next to the next game, the second game of the night, and that was Utah and the Clippers. Donovan Mitchell. That's all I'm going to say. 37 points again last night. I mean, he is the new superstar in the league. He's a new superstar. I mean, that's just point blank and period. I mean, there's nobody to me that can stop him one-on-one. He does what he wants. And if you look at that defensive team on the Clippers, you have Patrick Beverley. You have Morris. You have, of course, Kawhi Leonard. You have, Playoff P, as me and my boy Jeff like to call him, Paul George. You have great defensive players there, and it doesn't matter. He does what he wants. He's looking like, like the second coming. Second coming, shall I could say Kobe Bryant. I mean, of course, that's a stretch. But he looks unguardable. He's doing what he wants, and he's put up another big night. And once again, where's Paul George down the stretch? He's nowhere to be found. I don't know, man. I just think that it's Utah's to lose. I see them pulling this off in 5 games, maybe 6. Even though it was a good effort by the Clippers last night, I just think that, there is the one player that is pretty much unguardable in the series, and he's the one that's going to pull his team out, and that's going to be Donovan Mitchell. I just don't see the Clippers having anybody on that team that can stop him. He can do what he wants when he wants. Very similar to Kevin Durant in the last series, like I talked about with the Nets. So he's going to be the one. He's the X factor. He's the one, and he's the new superstar in the league. So with that being said, he's going to be the one that's going to prevail his team. Of course, you've got Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year this year, in the middle. He's hard to stop, man. He's hard to stop, meaning as far as block shots, defensively, getting rebounds, just being a force in the middle. That really helps them on the defensive end. I just don't see anybody, I don't see the Clippers beating Utah in this series. Paul George is really kind of showing he has his struggles in the playoffs, man. He just can't come up in the big moments. And that's really what's hurting the Clippers right now, because if he was able to be the Paul George that we know he can be, I think this would be a more and more competitive series. And I think that, I would pretty much, believe it or not, have the Nets, not the Nets, have the Clippers pretty much winning this series based on how good, Paul George is. But because I know, and like a lot of people know, he kind of doesn't show up in a lot of times in the playoffs, that's why I have Utah coming out of the West and pretty much playing the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. All right, so listen, guys, thanks for coming by for my rant. Once again, I'll be back probably tomorrow for another rant to talk about some more playoff series and other topics in sports. And once again, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Also, to hit that bell icon to get notifications for my new rants and my new topics that I may talk about in regards to sports. Also, too, please keep a lookout for me and my boy Jeff's Blue Steel show that we do 2 times a week that comes out every week, guys. All right, I appreciate you guys coming by. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.